Not every situation you're going into as a leader is going to be perfect. You may not have the best experience model leader ahead of you who will be that Yoda and guide the way for you towards your Jedi dreams. I don't know. But that doesn't mean that you have to throw everything out the window. In this episode of Shift Your Lens, we're going to talk about what you can do if your one up isn't as strong of a leader as you hope to, and how do you handle that? Welcome to Shift Your Lens. My name is Ray White, organizational development consultant and writer of The Leader's Lens. Thank you for listening to the Shift Your Lens show, where we walk through questions, real questions that middle managers have shared with me through the Leader's Lens newsletter, and talk about some dynamics and ways in which that we can see success, because if they're going through it, we're all going through it. You feel me? Uh, this one in particular talks about this leader expressed that their one up isn't as strong of a leader as they thought it was going to be. They're not demonstrating leadership in the way that they think leadership should look like. And there's going to be some, and while we'll dive deep into what that specifically means, I wanted to take this concept here as an opportunity for all of us to reflect on what happens if we're in this position. What do we do? How do we navigate this? I remember a long time ago, a mentor of mine told me that you can learn from any situation. It doesn't have to be the perfect, the best of the best spot to be in. You can take any opportunity to learn and reflect and shape what that looks like for you and make meaning, so you can then show up and do what you need to do based upon that knowledge and reflection. Typically, this perspective comes into play when folks, you know, athletes, they leave programs because they didn't have the best coach, or they didn't like the school, or what have you, right? I remember wanting to leave my university at the time when I was in college because I didn't like my university. Like I didn't like it at the time. I was struggling. I was away from home. I didn't know much, right? But uh, that perspective came in of, hey, you can learn from this. You can learn from failure. You can learn from success. You can learn from any situation. You can learn from anybody if you know how to filter it and process it to make meaning for you to take action in. That changed the way that I saw my presence and my approach to certain things, because while I'm here, I'm gonna make the most of every opportunity. While I'm in this situation, I'm gonna find lessons and I can learn and reflect on and internalize and then take action with. And this same process can work when we are under leadership that may not be as strong as we hope. What I have shared and what I was reflecting on this particular question was this particular thought is like, it is tough. We would love to be under great tutelage, if you will, but sometimes it's an opportunity for us to say, what kind of leader do we want to be and need to be in this space? So, one of the things that I have thought about from in relation to the one up leader is be able to share with that one up leader what success looks like for you, right? You can be the one to manage up, if you will, and say, this is what I need to be successful, and engage them on that dialogue to see how they respond. Do they respond with, okay, I could do that, or nah, I ain't gonna do that because that's not the way I do it, what have you? Either way, you get your answer as you go about that particular perspective. So the next point is build your own network. You have people, you have mentors, you have peers, you have books, you have all the things around you that can help guide you and be successful in that space. Long ago, when I was commuting a lot, I remembered thinking, man, I'm not getting the education that I want when it comes to how I want to lead, or the industry that I'm in, or the lessons that I'm learning. And then I don't know where I heard it, but they were like, make your car a classroom. Transform your areas into a classroom. Create the plan you need, then the lessons and the resources you need to be successful. So when in my 20-30 minute commutes, I would find the podcast, I would find the stories, I would find the audiobooks, and I would consume them to gain the knowledge and experience that I needed, and gain the knowledge that I need to then enact in the workplace, so the experience that I wanted, right? Nobody says that the one up is the only person you can learn from in leadership. There are books, there are other leaders. there's other podcasts, right? There are all these resources out there nowadays that you can use and leverage to gain the experience necessary for you if you're missing something from your current particular context. And then, which leads to the last one of leading from my particular position. I now, with articulating what success looks like for me, building on my own network and the people and the opportunities around me to enhance my skill sets, then I was able to then look into my role and say, what could I do in this position? And a question that I often would ask myself is, if I was that leader, if I was that manager, if I was that director, what would I do in that situation? And that provided that lens of like, hey, this is how I would operate. And then it'll help me execute. It gave me a framework. It gave me a vision, a perspective to say, this is what leadership could look like for me. We have to be able to learn how to lead ourselves. We won't necessarily have the guide, the guru, the mentor all around us to give us the necessary tools. And sometimes they walk alongside us, sometimes they won't. But if they don't, that's okay. Self-leadership is really key to help building out what we need for our own selves. And it gives us the necessary support to help guide the lead and lead others who are following us, because we don't want to replicate the experiences that we've had. We can learn from any experience. And from those learning experiences, we could turn around and say, what could I do, or what can be done to make this better for those who are coming after me? So have that conversation with your one up and help articulate what success looks like for you. Build out a network and your resources and build that classroom, your own curriculum of what you need to be successful for your own leadership, and then be that model. Lead from that position, lead from that space, have that perspective to say that if I was in this role, try that on. If I was in this role, what would I do? And then take action in that and be that person that is that light. And you can then create a new lineage and a new tree of leaders from your own leadership that models the way and bees the change that they want to see within the workspace. So while you may not have that in your space, and I hope that you do have somebody in your corner who can help guide you and lead you to be that leader that you want to be. But if in off chance that you don't, I help coach mid-level leaders to be that leader that they desire to be within their workspace, creating belonging workplace cultures, executing on strategies, being that bridge between the strategic and the tactical work through their mid-level leadership. If you are somebody who is wanting to enhance their leadership skill set and be that leader, tap the link in the show notes where you can learn about my mid-level leadership coaching experience, and I can walk alongside you and help you be that effective leader that you desire to be for your workspace. If you like these Shift Your Lens episodes, let me know. Drop that in the comments or get at me at Ray Devante on all social media platforms, Instagram and LinkedIn as well as subscribe to the Leaders Lens newsletter, where you get bite-sized and deep-sized leadership topics like this one right into your inbox. Continue to lead well, and let me know how you are shaping your own leadership through your own lens. Peace.